Hello, my name is Michelle and I work at the West Point branch of the Pamunkey Regional Library. I'll be your host today as Pamunkey Regional Library presents Monty's Monstrous Munchies. For the Monstrous menu, we have bat wings and ICUs for starters. The main course is fine intestines, potato heads, and slithering salad. And for dessert, we have eye pies and ears to you. Monty's worked very hard, and he hopes that you enjoy Monty's Monstrous Munchies. For the bat wings, you will need chicken wings, wing sauce, and black food coloring. First, place your wing sauce in a large Ziploc bag. Then add a few drops of black food coloring. It doesn't take much to color the wing sauce. Mix the food coloring and wing sauce well until it is all black. Then you're going to want to add your chicken wings. If your chicken wings are tight, stretch them out a bit so they look more like bat wings. Once you've added all the chicken, you want to mix well until all the chicken is covered with the black marinade. Once you've covered the chicken with the marinade, you need to squeeze all the air out of the bag and seal it tight. You want to let your wings marinate for at least 1 hour. We are letting ours marinate overnight. Once the wings have marinated, you can fry or bake the wings. We baked our wings for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. And there you have the bat wings. For the ICUs, you will need mozzarella balls, olives with pimentos, and prosciutto or Parma ham. To make sure the eyes will sit flat on the plate, you need to flatten one side by slicing a piece off. Then you need to slice your olive, making sure each slice has pimento in it. Once you've sliced your olive, place one slice on the mozzarella ball, and with a sharp knife, very carefully cut around the olive and remove the cheese, making a place for the olive to sit on the cheese ball. Now place the olive slice on the cheese ball. You can use a slice or you can use the end, whichever fits better. Next, you want to take your prosciutto or Parma ham. It's very fragile. The ham is thin and tears easily. You want to slice the ham about the height of the mozzarella ball. And once you have your ham sliced, you're going to wrap it around the mozzarella ball until you've used all the ham, like so. Continuing around until all the ham has been used. And here we have the finished product. Monty is always willing to help with the cleanup. For the fine intestines, you'll need phyllo dough or puff pastry, sausage or other filling, and 1 egg. Start by laying out your dough. I'm using 4 sheets of phyllo dough, and cut it into wide strips. I was able to get 3 wide strips from each piece of phyllo dough. Once you have your strips cut, you're going to place your sausage in the center of the dough, being careful not to overfill. Once you've placed all the sausage on the dough, you're going to wet one side of the dough with some water, and then fold the other side of the dough over and press to seal. You want to make sure no sausage is showing, so you need to press it firmly. Continue making these rolls until you have enough to fill your baking pan. Once you have enough intestines, place them in a greased pan with the seam side down. When you add the next portion, you need to use a little water on each end and press to join the sections together. Continue to add sections, wrapping at the corners, going back and forth until the pan is full. Once the pan is full, you're going to mix 1 egg yolk with 1 tablespoon of water. Mix that well, and then brush the dough with the egg wash. You want to make sure you brush it on all of the dough, making sure all the dough is covered with the egg wash. You're going to bake these at 350 degrees for 20 minutes or until the sausage is done. Once you've removed the fine intestines from the oven, you can add a little ketchup for that extra touch of realism. And here you have the fine intestines. To make the potato heads, you will need small potatoes and some oil. With a sharp knife or the end of a vegetable peeler, you want to cut out eyes and a mouth from your potato. You can add a nose and cut the eyes and mouth in any shape that you want. Just make sure you remove the potato from the carving, like so. Once you have all your potatoes carved, you want to add the oil and make sure the potatoes are coated well. Once the potatoes are coated with oil, you want to place them on a baking pan with the face up and bake in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. You can also add seasoning if you'd like, or bake them plain. And there we have the potato heads. For the slithering salad, you will need an English cucumber, salt and water, 2 peppercorns, and some Italian dressing. Try to find a straight cucumber with some stem attached. This will be the head. Place the cucumber between 2 chopsticks, starting about 2 inches from the end of the cucumber. With your knife at a 45-degree angle, make thin slices down the length of the cucumber, being careful not to cut all the way through. When you get to the end of the cucumber, you're going to turn the cucumber over to the other side and flip it in the other direction. And again, make your cuts at a 45-degree angle down the cucumber, stopping about 2 inches before the head. You can see it already resembles a snake with the way that it moves. Now you're going to soak the cucumber in some salted water for about 30 minutes. Remove the cucumber from the salt water and dry well. Using your sharp knife, carefully trim the stem to look like a tongue and carefully cut holes for the eyes. Once you have the holes cut for the eyes, you're going to place the peppercorns in the holes, like so. Finally, get a bowl and you want to wrap your cucumber in the bowl so it resembles a snake. You can add your dressing, and there you have your slithering salad. For the eye pies, you will need cherry pie filling, small pie shells, pie dough, and an egg. Pre-bake the pie shells. You can find these in the freezer section. Once they are cool, fill the shells with the cherry pie filling, reserving 1 cherry per pie. Don't overfill the shells. You want an even surface. Once the shells are filled, roll out your pie dough and cut circles large enough to cover the pie shell. I found a round measuring cup was the perfect size. You could also use a cookie cutter if you have one large enough. Place the pie dough over the pie shells and pinch the edges to seal. Remove the pie filling sauce from the reserved cherries and place 1 cherry in the center of each pie. Next, we need to cut the eyelids. Going back to the pie dough, you need to cut circles about the size of an eyelid large enough to cover the cherries. I found a metal tablespoon was the perfect size. Cut out as many eyelids as you have pies. Once you've cut the eyelids out, you need to remove a slice from the end. Then make an indentation across for the fold in the eyelid. Do not cut all the way through the pastry. Next, you're going to place the eyelid over the cherries. You can use some water to wet the bottom of the eyelid, and it'll help it adhere better to the pie crust. Press firmly down to attach it. Next, mix 1 egg yolk with 1 tablespoon of water. You're going to need a pastry brush to apply the egg wash to the pie dough. Make sure you cover all the dough, but don't get any of the egg wash on the cherry. Once you've covered the pastry dough with the egg wash, you're going to bake at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Remove the pies from the oven and allow them to cool. Once the pies have cooled, you need some white icing to draw a line underneath the eye and then place 1 dot on the cherry. And there you have your eye pies. Here's to you. For this final recipe, you will need dried pears, cranberry juice, brown sugar, and corn syrup. You want to trim the dried pears so they resemble ears, rounding the bottoms and carving out the middle as needed. I found a metal measuring spoon worked well. You can also use a sharp knife. You want to continue to do this until you have as many pears as you need. Some of the pears just need to be trimmed a little, and some of them just need to be cut in half. If you don't find dried pears in the grocery store, you can always dehydrate some in your oven. Once you have enough dried pears, place them in a bowl, warm up some cranberry juice, and pour them over the pear slices. We're going to let this marinate overnight. Then you're going to mix some brown sugar with your cranberry juice, add some corn syrup, bring it to a boil, and then let it simmer until it forms a thick syrup. Then add the syrup back into the pears. This is delicious served over vanilla ice cream. And as you can see, soaking in the cranberry juice made them plump up, and they even look more like ears than they did. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you had a monstrously good time. We made bat wings. We made ICUs. We made fine intestines. We made potato heads and slithering salad. We made ears to you and eye pies. Bon appetit. For those of you that stayed until the end, here's Monty doing the taste testing of the fine intestines. And you can see that he really enjoyed them. Thanks.